And then I realized I had no purpose. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. That's when I was at a suicidal moment. It was 3 days in a row where I thought about it for 3 straight days. I was in my car, which was my house at this point. I had a sawed-off shotgun on my lap. And that's the moment where I thought, if I'm willing to die, let me do it with my boots on. Let me fucking do it in a cool way. I'm going to the French Foreign Legion.
Taylor Cavanaugh is a resilient former Navy SEAL and the only one to join the French Foreign Legion, whose extraordinary story has inspired countless people to rebuild their lives with discipline and purpose.
Like, I got nothing to lose. 8 days later, I was in France. Like, might as well just Hail Mary this because at least it's gonna be a fucking cool story. No great story is filled with half measures. ISIS was on the west side. I did deployments down in South America, combating the...
What's the craziest fucking story that you got from the French Legion?
They used to dig guys up to their neck in sand and let them sit there for punishments in the sun. The Legion is still very strict organization. It's like prison with a gun is what I'd say. For years, scrubbing toilets or marching through jungles, all of it was just time for me to think. And I visualized all this. Take massive action. Don't wait. If you have the ability to make some shit happen now, fucking do it. Your next level was never meant to be comfortable for your pocket. Your destiny whispers at you, it doesn't shout.
What's a story that you never told before, but it will be in the book, and you want to just give a preview to people that's going to listen to this podcast?
6 friends and everybody's dead, except me.
Messing with the wrong people?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good to see
Solid.
you.
Yeah, good to see you too, bro.
Thank you for being over here. Good to meet you in person.
Yeah.
And I saw a few things on your social media, man. I was like so inspired by your story.
Thank you.
How you were able to turn your life upside down, and just turn your life into what it is now. You're able to inspire so many other men. When did all started when it comes to, like who is Taylor?
Yeah.
Like when did this call of become a better man became?
Yeah, man, I'm probably still trying to figure it out, but I was always wrapped up in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I always had, you're a driven guy, hey, this is what I'm doing. I was always very deliberate about what I wanted to do in my life. And it was way later, about midway through my Legion contract, when I really started to realize that, man, I had been deliberate about what I wanted to do, but never who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Right? My moral compass was skewed. I was never doing evil shit, but I just wasn't, I always took that subconscious voice that was like, hey man, do this, do that. And I just was like, yeah, but I'm good, and I'm going to just keep doing, as long as I achieve these external things, well, I'm good. So that's when I said, when I really started to kind of figure out who I was, to answer your question.
So the subconscious voice that you're talking about, would you say it's the right voice of you saying, hey, do this, do that because that's good for you? Or is the bad voice of you?
No, I think it's the authentic voice of God that speaks to us. That subconscious voice that everybody hears. Everybody's getting that plugged in, and it whispers, it doesn't yell. Right? And so you have to quiet the noise. If you're wrapped up in your own shit and your phone and you're not hearing it. So really it was when I was in the Foreign Legion in that quiet barracks room, snowing out, and I'm kind of realizing that I had time to think, right? All the money and, girls and places and all this drugs, all this stuff was stripped away now. And now I had time to think for years. And so years and years and years of being able to kind of think through quietly where I was at, who I was, and more importantly, who I wanted to be. That's when really the world kind of started to open up, and I was like, okay, if I want to be this, and that authentic voice is, guiding me this, then okay, well then I got to start waking up early. I got to start just fixing these small pieces, just not major changes, right? The major change is a culmination and an aggregate of a bunch of small shit. A bunch of small shit, and it adds up to big shit. So that was my path.
I love that. You mentioned God. Are you religious? Do you believe in God?
I absolutely believe in God and a higher power and universal principles and universal laws. And religious is a strong word because, I wouldn't go by necessarily any type of religion, because I think really we're all praying to the same thing, most people, right? And really you're praying to an authentic voice and those guiding principles. So those universal principles that are undeniable. Yeah. So I definitely, since I was a young kid, have always felt a guiding force in my life.
Got it. So you're born and raised in a Christian family, kind of.
Yeah, my family, they were raised Catholic.
Catholic.
And then, but as it is. We would go to church sometimes, but always I was aware. But my mom also, growing up, she studied Buddhist principles. She studied, was a very open-minded family in that capacity.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have a really good relationship with your parents?
But, my parents split up, but I always felt loved. I always had a good relationship with support. There was some tumultuous stuff, and, as all families do, have some tension. So, but I feel very fortunate with how I grew up, and I'm very close with my mom. I was just texting with my dad just before here. So I'm very fortunate and grateful that I still have, my parents in my life.
Nice. So tell me about you in high school, bro. What was you in high school? How were you? Were you like a student or like a troublemaker?
I was kind of both, right? And so I always did my homework, and it was assumed. Like I took AP classes. I was definitely going to college. I was an academic All-American, but I also got expelled from school. Right? Okay. So I had kind of this mix blend, and a good athlete. Always had A's and B's, and was good in that capacity. Elevated classes. So I liked learning. Right? And I also had discipline to actually go home and do work. Okay. So I would my mom never told me to do my schoolwork. It was from a young kid. I just go, yeah, they give it to you, you fucking do it. It's like simple. And I honestly, I liked learning about history. I liked being good too. More than anything, I liked fucking getting the best score in the class. Right? Okay,
so the competitive spirit of yours.
I didn't like, looking like an idiot. So I liked putting up big numbers and doing well. And but I really liked high school because I had sports. I was good at sports, had decent accolades. I enjoy, I had good friends.
What type of sports were you playing?
I played football and lacrosse. So I'm not familiar, I don't know if they have lacrosse in Italy, but it's, kind of the sport where they play. Man, a great sport. Okay. So I really had a good run in high school my experience there was really good.
Nice. You mentioned discipline. Have you always been that disciplined?
I use discipline loosely in the sense because discipline is in comparison to what? There's people that are really disciplined, right?
Yes.
So I would say I was disciplined in doing my schoolwork. Probably could have spent more time on it. Probably could have not procrastinated. I always got it done. But, I could have worked out harder, and I could have been not partying and doing dumb shit too, and been more disciplined and would have gone further. I had ability to go to Ivy League schools. I had ability to go to military academies, and I fucked that all off because I got kicked out of school and because I wasn't disciplined.
Why did you get kicked out of school?
Possession of marijuana, technically, is what it was.
Okay. And now after that, what happened in your life?
I went to another school, graduated, but it messed up my trajectory to play sports. Okay. It really messed up some scholarship offers. So I went to any school that would take me, and I ended up going into a small Division III school in Orange County called Chapman University. But there was a car accident before going in there. Just a lot of chaos going into freshman year, which going into freshman year and leaving, home and having that type of autonomy was already, there was a lot going on. Now, stacking that on top and not playing sports, it was just a culmination of shit. So I pretty much got kicked out of school first semester or just really couldn't continue. And so I went back home and started junior college and trying to piece that together. And as you probably know, that during those transition points in your life when you're feeling like lost, rudderless, trying, but not really doing. Yeah. That was right. It wasn't discipline. I lost all fucking discipline at this point.
Wow. And how did you came up from that rock bottom type of moment to oh shit, let me get my shit together?
So I was actually thinking about this before we got on this podcast. There's been two real chunks of time, multiple, but two chunks of time where I decided I need to fucking lock it on. So when I had a moment, kind of that rock bottom moment where I felt, I was doing drugs, and there was a lot going on. And I go, I got to get out of here. So that's when I went back to Boston and really reset. And a lot of my friends while I was gone went to prison, died, a lot of things happened. So it was I think, that guiding force being like, hey, and listening to it and taking action, right? Because you can hear it and then not do fuck all but I sold everything. I had nothing. I went to Boston with one bag and moved into the basement of my aunt and uncle's house, right? We have those moments where you just got to take that action
Isolate.
and get rid of everything and restart. And I didn't go out for 2 years, right? So I was 19 to 21. I didn't go out. I think I went out with my cousins one time. That's it. I wasn't going out and party. I was so locked on. I was studying, training Muay Thai. I was working at a fish market, also doing landscaping for 2 straight years. And I got straight A's in the junior college I was at, and I got the ability to transfer back to University of California, Santa Cruz, because my grades were so good and I was so locked on. And so I saved a bunch of money and I got straight A's for 2 straight years because I didn't do anything. I had no friends, didn't go out, didn't do anything. Really, I mean, I knew people and stuff, but I was locked, very focused. And so that's when I went back to college into California.
Nice. So you were between 19 to 21 when you moved back to Boston.
Yes.
Gotcha. And you were laser focused.
Laser focused, yeah.
Wow.
And then I say those ebb and flow moments. I came back to California, lost that discipline again, right? Because now I'm not isolated anymore. I have, people around and parties, and now I'm just kind of like, okay. And I forgot what I had done to get to that successful time and to have that successful period of time. And I kind of lost that, which happens to people when you peak. True. And people go, okay, and they forget all the disciplines that got them to that point. And so I accumulated some arrests, a bunch of shit during that time, which made it challenging for me to get into the United States military. And that's but I ended up doing it, go to jail, clean some shit up. Long story short, graduate, though barely. And now I entered into another period of locked on focus because I got out of jail.
How old were you?
So I'm 23 now.
Okay.
So I'm 23 now. So from 2009, January, to when I graduated SEAL training, pretty much, so 2.5 years, I didn't go out at all.
Okay.
0. So I went 1 or 2 times in another 2.5 year period. So I had chunks of time where I was just like laser focused because I was like, man, I got nothing to fucking celebrate, right? So 19 to 21, locked on, didn't do shit. 23 to about 24, 25, another locked on period. So that was pinnacle to me actually getting to this point where those 2 chunks of time, 100%.
Gotcha. So you mentioned 19 to 21 laser focus. You moved back to California, and then in California you kind of forget your discipline and what take you to be where you were, and then you kind of got lost again until 23 years old.
Yeah.
And then what did you do during that period of time while you were like kind of all around and not laser focused?
So I was working, kind of going to school.
What type of working were you doing?
So I was working at a restaurant, bouncing and like also waiting tables and stuff. And so you're just kind of around it. And it wasn't like I was fucking off. It wasn't like that. It was just, I was still going to school, still doing my stuff, but I was turning papers in at the last moment. I was kind of just getting by, and you're just around it. I just wasn't in that like monk mode. I just wasn't in that monk mode where I could, go, back to school, working out, this and that. I was in this, but I could always kind of lie to myself because I was like still going to the gym, still training. I was training jiu-jitsu at the time. I was kind of, I was still doing these things and still passing my courses and still, so it's like, yeah, I'm doing it. But it was really just going through the motions, and that's just not how I fucking live my life, and not how the universe or God or whatever has proven that successful for me is going through the motions. Doesn't work for me.
So you made a really interesting point. Now you're saying I was kind of lying to myself because I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was doing this, I was doing that. So I was like kind of feeling that I was going with the flow, but I wasn't pushing myself at the maximum. Yeah. What would you say now that you look back that you could have done more or kind of push yourself to the maximum in order for you to compensate the lost frame?
Prioritization of, and also really focused on the goal. That was one piece that because I was like, oh, I'll go in the military. Okay. Right? That was just, I'll go in the military so I can just kind of do what I want. I'll worry about that later. Well, that was really fucking ill-advised approach because while I was just like, I was stacking all these problems administratively and legally, going, oh, okay, well, it's just this and well, it's just that. And then, but that was affecting what I was trying to do. I should have been like, okay, where's my goal? Are all of my actions aligned with that? And if they're not, then you're out of alignment, right? Then you're stacking karmic debt. So I say, bro, you don't have to be doing bad shit, pushing old ladies in the street to be stacking karmic debt on yourself. You can just be not living and not listening to that authentic voice. You just by you being lazy, sitting on the couch eating fucking Cheetos when you could be, learning, building a skill, doing something. You're stacking karmic debt. You're building anxiety. If you're hanging around with fucking people you shouldn't be, or in a life you shouldn't be, and you're just and you're fucking dealing with it, that anxiety is a punishment. It's a state of punishment from God, from the universe, that's telling you what you're doing is out of alignment. It's not aligned with your divine path, my divine path for you, what I have for you. So have fun with this anxiety. Gotcha. That's what it is. And people try to solve it in all these different ways, kumbaya and this and that, and they want to solve this anxiety when really just their entire life's incorrect. Right? Who they're around's incorrect. What they're doing is incorrect. So that's what the root of anxiety is, in my opinion.
I love it. I agree with you. So you say anxiety for you is not being aligned with your future self and your actual goal and mission to be in life.
Exactly. And
beautiful.
And it's exactly what
wow.
That's
so powerful.
It's that clear too. It's you have anxiety because there's decisions that need to be made that you're not making. Right, mostly. There's action that you need to be taking that you're not taking. Pretty much those two things. If action alleviates anxiety, right? When you're worried about something, what always helps? We're starting to work on the thing that's worried about. It immediately goes away. But we get so stuck in fear, which I actually had a question for you about fear.
Yeah.
Because you had a crazy path too, man.
Yes.
Coming, we talked about you going to England a little bit offline. Man, changing countries, going to places that you don't know the language. And also, man, administratively, you don't know what's going on. You're walking into a place, you don't have safety nets. I'm sure you didn't, right? You're coming to, first you're in England, then you're in America. Bro,
yeah.
You're like, bro, am I going to be on the streets? Talk to me about you kind of walking into fear, man, because a lot of people don't know that changing of countries and languages.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's a good point. Now that I look back to fear, I think that the definition for me of fear is because I don't believe that fear lives in the present. I think fear is what you expect about the future, because fear didn't happen. Like I'm afraid of not learning English properly. That's in the future. Yeah. That's not in the moment. That's not in the present.
Yeah.
So fear for me is the vision of something that did not happen that you're expecting to happen.
Yeah.
So that's my quick definition of fear. Anyway, coming back to your question, dude, I did not move from England to America. I can give you my 10 years journey in 3 seconds.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I graduated from high school. I went to England. I was washing dishes, washing toilet for free in exchange of a place to stay for me to learn English. Because I wanted to learn English. I knew that I had a bigger purpose in life, and I knew that in Sicily wasn't the right moment at the time, and I needed to be a better man and become a better version of myself. Even though I was 18 years old at the time. So anyway, I did that 3 months. I was rock bottom after 2 weeks emotionally, because I didn't know how to speak English, and I was sharing that with you before, but I was in this living room place and everybody were talking about in English or whatever, and I didn't understand anything they were talking about, and I was looking right and left like a left. I went back to my bedroom and I was like, fuck, and I had kind of a Jesus moment, like, okay, I need to improve. And I look myself in the roof and I say, okay, I have to do something about it. And I felt like a victim at the moment. I felt like, oh, it's my fault here and there. Say, Marco, man up. So next day I took responsibility, massive action. 7 a.m., notebook and an English book. Start reading, start putting all the words that I didn't know. So there was a lot of improvement, like in a quick type of thing. After that, I went to India. I volunteered over there.
Dude?
Yeah.
It's a hard ride, man.
So I was crazy, bro, because I was in this with this full of people, and then I started practicing English and become better of it. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, I want to give back. So I was like, oh, fuck India. So we go to India. For 3 months, we went over there. We volunteer. We support the orphanage, stay over there in the community. And dude, that was one of the moments that I realized how beautiful life is, number one. Number two, never feel entitled. Because if you feel entitled, you are like someone that didn't understand the meaning of life.
Wow, that's powerful, bro.
And the way, bro, I was able to learn that is by, I was in this train station, and I was about to wait for my train. and I had this young kid like this. She came to my leg. She tapped on me. She wanted food.
Yeah.
And I was about to give her food. The tour guide that was with us, he said, don't give her food. The reason why is because if you give her food, number one, the food is not going to go to her. It's going to go to the mom. The mom has 4 kids. The mom doesn't feed the kids. The mom go and feed the PMP of the street, pretty much. So that was like mind-blowing. I start crying. It's like, there is nothing I can do to help them out, truly. But in the other end, I say, I'm sorry. You know, like, she didn't understand me, but I smile at her. Yeah. She smiled back with the most beautiful smile that you can even imagine. And I cry even harder because I realized that these kids had nothing, but they're able to pull up a smile. And just thinking about that I get emotional a little bit. But anyway, so India, after that went to Spain, freaking for 4 months to learn Spanish. There was a lot of fear involved. We're talking about fear. There was a lot of fear because say, okay, there is unknown. There is no certainty. There is no that. But I realized that my character has been built in uncertain moment. I realized that I feel and perform the best under pressure. So fear is good because if you're thinking about, you know, okay, I'm going to fucked up. Maybe I'm going to fucked up. Okay, cool. Like, try it out. What if? Yeah. I like the what if sentence. Yeah. You know?
In the positive.
Yes, in the positive. What if? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. You know? Now I'm more like action oriented. Like I had people like pull me out. I was like, bro, like, you're going too fast. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I answer your question.
Oh, you answered perfect. You said something really important there too. Massive action.
Yes.
Right. That's a very important term that I think a lot of people from just at least in my experience dealing with clients and people who are thinking about and overthinking about it. I go, look, the universe respects drastic action.
Yeah.
No great story is.
1 second, bro.
Yeah. No, you're good. You shrunk, bro. You dipped out. No great story is filled with half measures and like you're reading a book. They're like, well, yeah, and then he sat on the couch and thought about it and then didn't do it. Like, that's not a story. Yeah. So what, sold all his shit. Went to a foreign land, started that's a story.
Yes.
Right? So we're all living a story. We're living a journey. Man, would you fucking read your book? Yeah. If not, then start picking up the pen and writing, man. Write a fucking interesting story for yourself. But first of all, you got to get clear about what you want your story to be.
I love it.
Get clear. Man, they're like, man, I would really wanted to do this in my life. Well, fucking do it. Yeah. I understand people have responsibilities and things and this and that. But guess what? Massive action is always, you can take massive action in a responsible way. It's always the fucking answer. There's no way around it.
I had a friend that was back in 2014 when I actually just left to go to England. And he was like, man, like, but think about it. What if, you're in a train station and then someone is going to rob you? I say, okay. And then he's like, yeah, that's why I don't want to go and I want to do it because what if like, dude, at least you have a fucking story. Yeah. Like, go over there and do something about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? You're stuck in India. Now what? Yeah, that's the story. Bro. You're not gonna make love with your girl because what? Like, otherwise you're gonna make her pregnant or something. Like, come on, man up, brother.
Dude, well, it's exactly true. Also, people think about the what if and the negative, but people don't ever think about the what if and the positive. True. People go, oh man, what if I, this business doesn't work out? What if it does? Yeah. What if it becomes massive? Yeah. And I really tell people this a lot too, is a lot of that's biological wiring. So it makes sense. So it's okay if you feel like everybody does, right? Yeah. Because our human brains are wired to project problems. Okay, well, what water, food? What if we don't have this? We're wired in the negative to predict and project where problems and risks might occur. So that's okay, right? So because in understanding that, it takes the power away from it. Because you're biologically wired to predict. You go, okay, well, what if this doesn't work out? So you can take deliberate action and go, okay, but what if it does? Right? Then I like to take time in the morning to kind of combat my fear by deliberate visualization. It's like, and you may be part of like visualization too, or I find it to be really helpful because a lot of our day is projecting fears. What if this, what if that, what if this? We just can't help it. So I like to take an allocated time in the morning where I think only about what I want to have happen. That's it. just allocated 10 to 15 minutes, put some music on, feel good, to just think clearly about where I want my life to be. Well, the beautiful wife and the beautiful kids and on the vacation in Hawaii, right? And the house with what do I want, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm not thinking about what if this happens or this. Man, this is a feel-good evolution, right?
So good question. When you do this exercise, you're doing it in the future, like 10 years or things like that, or are you doing like today?
I'm doing it wherever kind of my mind takes me at the moment. But a lot of it is, man, who do I want to be in that vision, right? How do I feel? What does that feel like? It's seeing my kids and my wife and the beautiful house and the security and the feel. What does that love feel like? What do I feel like seeing that? Right? And then I kind of backtrack. What do I, how does this business look in 6 months? So I might backtrack, but a lot of my visions are forward, year, 5 years, 10 years.
What would you say it's your why?
My why is I want to make impact. My why is I want to make impact, and I want to make impact for my family's life, my life, and other people's lives. I want for people to leave me, my presence, an experience with me better. I want to be like, man, dude, I remember that conversation with that guy, man. I fucking really helped me out. Or, man, if my pain, and I'm glad that my pain and my failures and whatever have allowed me to a platform that I could speak to and be like, hey, man, you can be suicidal in a car, which I was at one point, and then live a beautiful life. You're not out of the fight until you're in the ground pushing flowers, right? You always have some more to give, right? And there's always a way. You find a way. There's always a way. Well, I don't have any money. Well, sell your fucking clothes, right? Get one set of, so many ways down. Go pick up a shovel. Go ask them. There's so many ways if you really start opening up that optimistic lens. And that's why I say it's trying to make decisions in a negative mindset, in a low vibrational frequency is very difficult. So that's why I say get up early. Start moving, get some sunlight, start working out, start eating right. You don't need a lot of money to do those things.
True.
You actually need fucking not any.
Yeah.
Right? To just move around, move the body, go get some sunlight, and start feeling better about structuring your day. Now, try to solve some problems. Right? Trying to solve problems when you're wrapped up in it. I will totally agree. I've been there. It's fucking hard, man.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying, and allow me to go a little bit deeper if you don't mind. Why would you say that you want to influence people? Why would you say you want to make an impact? What's the reason behind? Because that's a beautiful thing what you just said. And I feel like many men nowadays, in this society especially, need someone like you that is able to say, hey bro, man up. Yeah. Get your shit together. Fix yourself first, and then you're able to influence other people. And then you're able to think in a positive mindset. And then you're able to say, okay, cool, let me wear the pants in this fucking family. Let me move it.
This country specifically needs healing, right? This is what I saw from an outside. That's why I'm glad I went to France, because I could see the United States from an outside in. And a lot of other countries need healing too. Needs healing. The traditional values are being eroded. Just common morals and just politeness is being eroded. That's not how it should be. Why is that? Weakness. Why is that? Lack of empowerment. Why is that? Victim mentality. All these things stem from lack of confidence and feeling good. Bottom line, a weak man is a dangerous man. A weak, not confident man is a dangerous man, right? The most dangerous.
So true.
Conniving and snake-like and very, very dangerous. So how do we fix that? I go, well, it starts with the individual. This country is comprised of 300 plus million individuals. So if in my small way, it's not some grandiose thing, I'm not fixing the world, but maybe I can help people in my area, people that I'm talking to, or my followers, just improving their life. And I see it every day. Hey, get up early, start eating right. Okay, now I'm starting to feel better. Now they're strong. Now their job's better. Now they're making more money. Now their wife's proud of them again because they're seeing. Now they're starting to heal their families. Then guess what? That same guy can now branch out. Now he can fix his community because now you can't fix shit when you're surviving. We've all been there when you're kind of in survival mode.
Yes.
You're not doing too much outside. You're just treading water. So when somebody gets into a mode of thriving, That's when you see people who are thriving donating to charities and doing all these things because they're thriving, right? They're not trying to survive, so they have the ability to look up and out and help other people. So that's what I like to get to. Empower people, put the control of their lives back in their hands. Right? Things aren't happening to them, they're happening for them, and they have control over all the daily pieces that they have. Now their family's better. Now their kids are better. Now they have more respect. Now their profession's better. Now they're making more money. Now they can start helping their communities. And guess what? That starts going up and out. And then that ripple effect, now their brothers seeing them going, okay, now their brother's better. Now this and that. The ripple effect is really what I'm after.
Fuck yeah. Man, I love that. I can see like that, like some people just talk and other people just like let you live the story, let you live what their passion is about, let you live like their call. And I feel like you have a huge fucking call, bro. Like just keep doing what you're doing. I love it. So I want to know a little bit more about this journey of yours. So you tried to enter in the military. They refused you the first time.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
Man, I tried a few branches. They were all pretty much saying no. The Navy said yes. I said, okay, I want to be a Navy SEAL. They said, okay, well, this is the process. So I started down that road, and this is during that locked on time where I'm living at my mom's house, stacking boxes at Home Depot at night in the graveyard shift. Like you got to go down and get humble to take a step back to take 10 forward.
True.
So that's where I was at. I fucking bought a car for $500, like a purple Jeep, man. And I started building myself back, taking that one step. Okay, how do I get in the military? Who would I need to talk to? How do I get letters of recommendation? Because I need a lot of things. And then who's making the decision, right? That was another piece. I was not taking no for an answer. They're like, dude, you cannot get a SEAL contract. You have a criminal background. You have all these things. I said, yeah, I can. Delusional confidence is important at some point. I said, yes, I can. Who makes the decision? And that's when some guy goes, well, this guy actually does. I fucking went and found that guy. And I said, hey, man, I want to be a SEAL. He said, okay, let's see. I trained with that guy face to face for almost a fucking year. Puking every day, whatever. And then at some point, he's like, damn, dude, all right. So he signed a letter of recommendation for me. That's how I got my SEAL contract. And I shipped on a SEAL contract, went through the Naval Special Warfare pipeline, BUDS, all that selection process, and ended up making it and going to SEAL Team 7. That was the initial part for my United States military piece.
How old were you at this time?
So I was 24 when I shipped for boot camp.
Okay. And then what was the reason why you really, really wanted to enter in some sort of military branches? Like, was it because like you, after like your college era, like was the high school era, right? That you got expanded from it. You were like, oh shit, like I have nothing else to do, shit like that. Let me enter in the military. Or was there like a bigger call behind that?
Well, I knew since I was a child, I wanted to be a special force operator. I knew I didn't even really want to be in the military so much as I wanted to be a special operator. Vietnam SEALs and that whole era really talked to me. And so I knew that.
Where do you think that came from?
I was 7 and I saw SEALs training, and my dad told me what it was, and that moment was when it was October 1992. I remember exactly when it was. And from that moment, I just read everything I could, was really immersed in trying to find out what being a Navy SEAL was, what a Green Beret was, what being a commando was, commando, that whole world. And so I just went through schooling knowing I was going to do that. It was just what I was going to do. And so I was going through the motions of school and sports and dealing with that stuff. And so by the time I finished college, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to the military. So
Gotcha.
that was why I pushed into the SEAL community.
Okay, cool. And then you entered in the Navy, and then how long you were there for?
7 years.
7 years.
So I spent 7 years, deployed to Iraq, Yemen, did an operation down in Mexico. So, and then JTAC, sniper, communication specialist, advent laden specialist. So I had a lot of specialties and had a really good run. And then I got in trouble, illegal trouble, which ended up forcing me out of the Navy. Failed a steroid test, which was technically how I got kicked out, took a general discharge. And then now I'm working in the civilian sector. So I'm working in the civilian sector, having some measures of success, doing residential real estate development, and then working for a venture capitalist. We launched a cannabis distribution company. It was actually right across the street here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was the main office, which is kind of ironic because it's like a victory lap, man. Having left there, in bad terms and chaos, and then going all the way around the world, now back on this podcast right across the street from my office.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was actually kind of a trip. I was walking with my fiance saying like, man, it's a trip coming back here. I have my beautiful fiance coming back in. Life's good. It just goes to show you, man, you don't know how life's going to pan out, but it will pan out good if you keep pushing and working.
I love it.
It will.
Wow. So you mentioned a few missions. You mentioned Iraq.
Yeah.
How long you been there for?
I was there for 6 months.
What's the crazy shit that you got, bro? Something that you never told before, bro.
Man.
If you can, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it was a unique kind of a place because we were pretty close to the forward line of troops. It's called the Flot. It's where it was like World War II, man. It's like entrenched. So the Tigris River runs north and south.
Yep.
And ISIS was on the west side, and then all this western. And so it was like this trench warfare with Sunni tribal fighters kind of punched up. And so that's what was our mission set, was to go link with the Sunni tribal fighters who had been displaced from their villages by ISIS and fucking group up with them and figure out, put them into some units that we could fight with, and then go back in and take over their strongholds. So it was, and we started that Iraq mission with nothing. Like a lot of people, they see like special operations, like you'll just fly into a base and then you're just, there, and then you go out on a mission and then you come back. Man, being special operations, the definition is you go and stay, right? So we went in and we were living in like a tent at first, figuring out where we're going to build a base. And then we went out and we were with 10 dudes building a forward operating base while rockets are hitting near us, mind you, from ISIS, Katyusha, old Russian rockets hitting, right? They know we're there. They have sources everywhere. We're putting up razor wire by hand, putting up walls by hand, holding security, 24-hour security with fucking 10 guys, building construction. With 10 guys, you're eating off the local meals. You don't have a gal. There's no cook. There's no base. It's like people like who really want to like understand special operations. It's not always like that, but that's how my deployments were. It was hard, man, and it's not all. Here's something that I probably just don't tell a lot is, it's not all Gucci missions, right? The work, most of being a special operator is fucking hard, man. Like we were doing construction, right? Some of it with a gun, putting up walls without machinery, because they're like, we're slowly, and then we built it up, right? We built it up. Then it turned into a pretty badass little base where we had drone launches and 10 armored vehicles and gates, but we welded it all ourselves, put it up by hand, put up HESCO walls, put up razor wire, all that shit by ourselves in 6 months, and then we hand it off to the Marines and then go forward more.
That's
right?
crazy.
That's kind of how it goes.
So you pretty much build a stronghold in 6 months with 10 guys while you were protecting.
So it was 10 at first, and then we got plussed up and got our whole platoon there, which was about 20. And we'll have some guys, some specialty guys, because SEALs, we don't all know electronics. I mean, how to do electrical work or weld, So you'll have a mechanic with you, and you'll have a comm specialist. You'll have a few supporting elements, but like 4 guys, not a lot. And that was it, man.
And your strategy, like the strategy that you were being taught, was like just defending yourself, or like eventually attack and demolish the.
Well, no, we was building it up, and then during this time, we're linking with the Sunni tribal fighter, training them, running operations with them, this is all happening at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. It's like, and not to mention there's IEDs. We did IED operations where you're marching and then start to like feel a burn, man, start to go back and then have to go in, and the ISIS leaves IEDs planted, bro, with like chemical IEDs, messed up shit. So we had a couple operations with the CRIF, the Crisis Response Force out of Abu Dhabi came, Green Berets and stuff that came, helped us out with some of that stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And do you have like some type of post-trauma disorder from this type of?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I think that's an overused term.
Okay.
And I think a lot of PTSD, I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I say, for me, I think I'm fine. But I think a lot of PTSD diagnosis is actually misdiagnosis, just lack of purpose. Right? I think guys are just, they'll say, I have PTSD, when really they're just lack of discipline and just aren't purpose driven, right? I think a lot of guys, and I work with guys like this, because There are problems, but it can be overcome. I don't like the label of it because then it's like, well, I have it. It's not a lifetime. You can have something and then it goes away.
True.
All right. It's not a lifetime label. That's why I'm very, very cautious about people labeling themselves because, dude, don't label yourself at a low vibrational state or some negative emotion or action or some memory. Man, you're better than that. And you can overcome it. You can heal yourself, man. You can heal yourself by fucking acting right.
Yeah.
Right, for the most part.
I love it.
Right?
And after Iraq, where have you been?
So we went to Yemen first. That was in 2013. Went to Iraq second, 2015. And then I was gearing up for another rotation to Iraq when I ended up getting pushed out of the United States.
So wait, where is Yemen?
Yeah. Yemen's on the peninsula, kind of right across from Djibouti, right at the Arabian Peninsula.
Okay.
At the very end.
And that was, which year was that?
2013.
So after Bin Laden was killed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Got it. How was the situation over there?
So there we were combating AQAP, Al Qaeda Arabian Peninsula. So it's a different terrorist organization, different, So that was a mission where we were linking with the CTU, the counterterrorism unit of Yemen. We were on another fob. This is with full beards, right? Because it's different. So and all these are like pretty much civilian clothes. We're not in like army clothes. We're in civilian clothes, low profile vehicles, not, also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So all that full beard stuff.
James Bond type of shit.
Not so much James Bond. I wish. Not so much James Bond, but low profile.
Low profile.
Right, so low profile, gray insert type stuff. You're not coming through a major port of entry.
Got
and
it.
shit like that.
Okay. And then how long were you in a
We were there with eight guys. So we had 12 total in country. They would only allow 12 Navy SEALs in country.
Have you had any type of moment where like, oh shit, he got me, or things like that?
We had some. It was less. It wasn't like what they call a hot.
Okay.
But we were doing private security detail for the ambassador because they had the issues with the Houthis. They were the Houthis, the rebel group, which ended up overrunning that base, mind you. When they were threatening to kill the president and all this stuff. So we were doing private security for the United States ambassador there, moving through the city, Oman and the southern cities. And it's dangerous, man. Yemen's no joke. It's also really difficult to navigate. But it's man, the history there, bro, is like, because you see these old ancient ruins and you're just like, man, the Ottomans, right? And you have the Brits that were fighting wars there in the 70s. It's intense, right? That whole area has got a lot of thousands of years of war and history, and the people out there are tough, man. It's a tough country, it's a tough life. It's a it's hardcore, man. They live tough.
Wow, crazy. And you stay there for another 6 months, or a little bit more than
7.
that.
Yeah,
7
that was
months.
about 6 or 7
with 8 guys.
Yeah,
and then after that you went to Iraq, and then after that, where have you been?
So that was when I moved into the civilian sector.
Yes.
And that's when I moved in and was doing all that stuff, working residential security, residential development.
Okay.
And then into the cannabis industry, building out a facility and also raising capital for other businesses and things for the venture capital guy. And then that's when I was stacking bad habits, though. That's when a lot of my story is, man, I like to talk about the off the field stuff because it relates to everybody. I don't care if you're a business guy. You don't gotta be a special operator and all this shit. I was drinking every day. I was smoking weed every day. I was taking Adderall, Xanax. I was sniffing fentanyl, taking opioids at night. All these things stacked together, but it was that thing again. I could still lie to myself. I was measures of success. Man, I'm fucking making money. I'm doing all this. So it was that ability to lie and point, and people were like, well, he's fucking, doing okay. Like, obviously, like, and it was ego. Man, nobody can tell me shit. What I'm doing's right. So you fucking, God's going to blast you, man, right? That ego, fucking, you're going to get humbled quick. And that's how it happened to me. And everything came crashing down, lost everything, just came off the tracks, right?
How did you lost everything, though?
Man, it was just lost a job, right? I just got loose, right? It ended up technically happening, man, I fucking fell down, I hit my head, and it was just kind of like the catalyst that was the straw that broke.
You were walking down the street and you fell down?
No, I was in a bathroom, and it was just a complicated scenario.
Gotcha.
Girlfriend, it's just, the boss found out, and like it was just a lot of stuff, and it was, look, obviously this has come to a head. Okay, now you should probably go take a break, which was pretty much getting fired, right? Take a break, take a separation. So now my whole life was turned upside down. The job's gone, the life's gone, all the stuff's gone, the title's gone, everything, the money's gone, all the stuff's gone. That's when I was waiting for that call. I had moved to Hawaii just to kind of like separate the distance and to get some time and distance. And okay, the call's gonna come, and the next opportunity is gonna come, and nothing came, right? And that was the moment where I go, man, fuck. I'm just so tired of trying, right? After Navy SEAL and all this stuff, I was just exhausted. Also, had cut off the drugs, had got off the fentanyl, got off the opioids and stuff. So the withdrawals from that are pretty substantial.
What made you come off?
And I just knew it wasn't sustainable.
Okay.
And I just knew it wasn't good for me. And also I changed locations so I didn't have contacts anymore, right? Because I knew it was just a never-ending pit, right? Financially, emotionally, it was sucking my soul out for me. It was just creating a lot of havoc for me. And so I was like, this is probably not the best thing. I didn't even make that active choice. I just kind of happened in natural progression. I just allowed it to happen. So went through that piece, and then I realized I had no purpose. This was the first time in my life I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do.
What year was that?
2019.
2019.
It was October 2019. So this was the first time in my life where I was like, bro, I have technically September, where I had always had a goal. I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. I'm going to go in the military. I'm going to finish college. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then now it was, what the fuck am I going to do? That was a scary feeling because it was the first time I ever felt it. And that's when I was at a suicidal moment. Right? I had no fucking idea what I was going to do. I didn't have the resources I thought, right? That's that lack of optimistic lens. You're trying to solve problems when you're at this super lowest of vibrational states. Then I made the decision. I said, all right, I always knew about the Foreign Legion. I was like, well, I had that moment of clarity, that authentic voice of God be like, hey, you're being a little bitch, right? Think about your mom and your sister. You have people that love you. People were trying to reach out to me, but I was turning off my phone. And I said, okay, I have a responsibility to not leave damage in people's lives, and so I have to sack the fuck up. And
so wait, at this point you were thinking about suicide?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what the day looked like, or was that like a series of days and then
it was
right
3 days in a row? It was 3 days in a row where I thought about it for 3 straight days. I was in my car, which was my house at this point, right? I had lost everything. No gas in the truck, no money in the bank account, right? I think I had like $6 or something. And I was like, had a sawed-off shotgun on my lap, sitting right here, that I had, who the fuck knows where I got that from in Hawaii. And I was like...
Oh, you were in Hawaii?
Yeah, I was in my truck in Hawaii, parked in the jungle by where the volcanoes were erupting. Oh. So there's a lot of energy and shit. Dude, it's like a rural area.
Why you were in Hawaii?
That's where I left, because I knew I had to leave here, and I just moved all my shit out there.
Kind of isolate yourself?
The boss at the time had some business out there, and it was pretty much me getting marooned. He's like, go out here for a little bit, but it was pretty much just separating me, which is for the best, though, honestly, looking back. And so that's the moment where I was pretty low, going, fuck this. I would take like walks in the jungle, and I'd be like sitting on a rock going, what the fuck am I going to do, man? And nothing was coming. And then that's the moment where I thought, you know what? If I'm going to die, if I'm willing to die, or I'm at that point, well, at least let me do it with my boots on. Let me fucking do it in a cool way, right? And so I'm going to the French Foreign Legion. Maybe they'll fucking deploy me somewhere dangerous or whatever. It wasn't on a death wish, but I was just at that rock bottom point where I'm like, I got nothing to lose. So let me just, and I wouldn't have done that drastic, that massive of an action if I had stuff to lose, right? Or I was too comfortable, right? So that the universe had really stripped it down for me where I had no comforts left, right? There's no peace. There's no comfort where there's no peace. And I had no peace. I was there going, well, I got nothing. Might as well just Hail Mary this, because at least it's going to be a fucking cool story. I had never heard of a Navy SEAL being a Foreign Legionnaire, and found out later I'm the only one to ever do it. Only Navy SEAL Foreign Legionnaire ever, and still. So I didn't know that at the time, but I knew it was a unique thing, and it was fucking curious, man. Right? It's mysterious. French Foreign Legion, 200-year-old institution that takes foreigners. They fought in every war since Algeria to Afghanistan.
Real quick, how were you thinking to kill yourself during that state of mind?
How?
Yeah, like what was in your mind? Like you just shut it down or like just...
I was just like, man, how am I gonna do this? Well, but I was like, I don't want to leave too much of a mess. I was like, maybe I'll jump off a cliff, and then I was like, maybe I'll jump into that volcano, and that's what made me laugh.
No way.
That was actually what brought me out of it a little bit, because I go, fucking jump in a volcano, bro. That's crazy. I was like, you're fucking insane, dude. Like you can't even kill yourself normal. And so that actually made me laugh, and then that was the moment where that led to, I was like, man, I'm going to the French Foreign Legion. Let's fucking do this. That was a pinnacle and fucking a hugely important moment in my life. And 8 days later, I was in France. Like, and that was, then once I had that, okay, a little bit of a guide, right? I had that bearing. Then that optimistic lens opened up, and I go, okay, well, how do I get the money to get a ticket?
Yeah.
Right? I had no money. I was like, well, I could take some fast cash loans out.
Yeah.
I still had some credit left. So I did. I took 2 500 fast cash loans out from 2, paid like a bazillion% interest later, but it got me France. And so that's what I did, so you start to be able to see how to solve problems and make some shit happen. That's what I did, man.
And how did you hear about the French Legion?
Man, probably, I think I knew about them when I was younger, just from studying about the military and stuff. And then I came across them again when I was having trouble getting into the United States military after college. And I found out, okay, this is actually a unit that takes guys with checkered backgrounds and stuff. If I need to go in, I could do it there.
Wow. So they're pretty much taking all the people from different, like all the military, right? Mm-hmm. From different countries that they lack purpose. Or what's the mission of the French Legion? The
mission of the French Foreign Legion is just to take foreigners in, and it's really because they can send foreigners to fight without political pressure of French coming back in body bags. That's really the whole point of the Foreign Legion.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because there's no if they send Foreign Legion to fight, it's technically not French, so it's a lot less political pressure. That was the original inception of it. It's still kind of like that. It's not a charity, so it's still, there's 7,000 guys about spread throughout the world. They're in Tahiti, South America, deployed in Africa. You got to remember, 26 countries in Africa speak French. 26. So France is very prolific down in Africa. So you're doing a lot of missions down there. I did deployments down in South America, combating the gold mining, protecting France's gold mining activities down there, and also illegal gold mining in the Amazon.
Against who?
It's really it's not against anybody, but it's just illegal gold miners and drug
illegal
smugglers.
Gold miners, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Do you speak French?
Oui.
Oui,
c'est obligatoire dans la Légion étrangère parler français.
J'ai étudié français à l'école.
Ah oui?
Je n'ai parlé français.
Mais elle est très difficile.
Très difficile.
Yeah. No, the Italians also pick up the French. There's a handful of Italians I worked with in the French Foreign Legion.
Really?
Yeah, the Italians are always solid operators, and they pick up French quick.
Yeah.
Right? Because that, some of the similarities in language.
Yeah.
They pick it up quick.
Wow. What's a craziest fucking story that you got from the French Legion, bro? Like,
man, I got some wild ones, because going in, deployments aside, just going into the French Foreign Legion, bro, is like, a lot of Russian speakers, right? So it's a lot of Ruskophones. So and the history of the hazing. I would read books about old school, the guys dying in Africa. They used to dig guys up to their neck in sand and let them sit there for punishments in the sun. Dude, it was hardcore. There's some crazy stories of the late 1800s of the Foreign Legion in Algeria, how gnarly some of the punishments were. And the Legion is still very disciplined, massive discipline, very strict organization about movements. It's like prison with a gun is what I'd say. It's like every movement in and out of the building is checked. Every movement in and out of the gate obviously is checked. Everything is in-house, so all security is run by the Foreign Legion. Also, we did anti-terrorism domestic operations interior of France with the Foreign Legion. So I used to patrol on the Riviera. I spent 2 months doing an anti-terrorism domestic mission and on the fucking, with a HK 416 patrolling down Nice, France.
What the fuck?
On the Riviera, bro. Fully kitted up, and people are like, hey, Foreign Legion, because they see the green beret. So they know and they love it, because they have a lot of terrorism issues, in Europe, as you know, and especially France. So at least threats. And so it was an interesting, and just going into that building, I mean, they have a bar in every building. So I was like worried, dudes are getting drunk and, just that whole thing and the hazing, especially as a new guy. And dude, crawling in the snow as a new guy, them, through little, not hazing, but new guy stuff. And just very challenging on the ego. I was cleaning toilets a lot. Hey, Navy SEAL, come clean this fucking toilet. So I had a lot of that which is interesting. We have that is you really get clear on where you want to go when you're cleaning the back of a toilet.
Yes.
Dude, when you're clear and when you go, okay. But that's also where I learned, bro, I earned this place. Right where I'm at with this brush, cleaning this toilet, whatever. Yeah, we'll deploy and do stuff, but a lot of it was mundane work. You're just in the military doing stuff. And I was like, I earned this place, me cleaning this toilet, right? My decisions obviously led to here. So that was a very moment of like stoic philosophy of no better place than right where you're at to get where you need to go. I was like, perfect. And I started changing my psychology of it from being like, oh, fuck, this sucks, to being like, good. Now I have time to think and plan. Right? I could be here for hours and I could just game plan, visualize, where am I going to be, being successful. We'll have the beautiful life and the beautiful, and the successful business, getting back to the United States. Man, I visualized all this for years, scrubbing toilets or marching through jungles or in Estonia, just through the forest. And all of it was just time for me to think clearly, game plan, write my story. How was I going to communicate this story? Because that was the whole game plan. I was going to get through the Legion and be able to get a platform to communicate what I experienced on how to get right, man.
What is like a day in French Legion? What is a day like?
That's a great question that nobody's really asked me before. Is you got two different types of days.
Okay.
Missions and training, which is different, right? So and at the regiment. But all days consist of, the Legion is very strict about this. You wake up at 5. That's everywhere, in the jungle or wherever. You do what's a appel call, right? Appel. So it's like a muster, roll call. You line up in your rows, formal. The non-commissioned officer will come out, takes the roll call. They check who's there, who's not, who's there, who's not. Rack and stack, and then you're gonna roll into cleaning, always. Room, barracks, wherever you're at, building, all that stuff. You're gonna do a walk around. The Legion's very, very strict on the cleaning. So mop, bucket, bathroom, everything is cleaned at that time. Then you're gonna go right into some physical training. You're gonna go right into usually a run. The Legion loves to run, bro. So you're gonna go right into a 8 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer fucking run, dude. Every day. In the snow, in the rain, in the heat, doesn't matter where you're at. In the jungle, we'd go on these long runs, man. And or if we're not doing that, we'll be doing some type of calisthenic workout or whatever. But usually it's always incorporates a run as a group, it's sections, it's called. It's called sections, and that's kind of like your little small unit. And then you'll roll into whatever training for the day. Sometimes you'll do French courses. Sometimes you'll do taking weapons apart. Sometimes you'll be doing whatever demolition training or whatever type of training you're doing. Then you're gonna go into lunch, then back, but you're marching and singing and doing all that stuff in between. And then you're gonna do more work, then back, and then so that's the flow.
Gotcha.
And then you might be cut loose in the afternoon or evening time at about 6 or 7, where you can kind of take a shower, maybe work out. That's when I would go to the gym or whatever and kind of like structure, have a little bit of downtime. That's generally the day.
That's generally the day of a regular day, if not in a mission.
Yes.
What if you are in a mission?
So on the mission, take the jungle, for instance. So
sure.
It's the same process for wake up. That never changes. You're waking up at the same time, 5. You're getting a Pell. They're coming out there. I'm talking. Standing up in the jungle.
Yeah.
Doing same thing. Then you're going to go right into cleaning, right? You're still going to clean and do whatever you got to do. We would sweep the dirt, bro. Dead serious. They would be sweeping dirt, bro. They don't care. So after that, and then you're going right into security operations or whatever. So in the jungle, so they would split us up, say, hey, okay, you guys are going on an operation today. We would start structuring it, reading maps, start looking at where we're going. Are we taking a helicopter? Are we taking a boat? Are we where are the boats going? How
kind
many
of
of us
strategize everything.
Strategize everything. Where are the gold mines that we're hitting? And then we would do 1, 2, 3, or 14-day operations into the jungle, and then back, and then reset. But you're always doing security on that little outpost where we were also, there was a small river, and where we would check, because it was on the Suriname and French Guiana border. And so we were also checking for drugs with the boats and stuff while we were doing the jungle patrols. So that's just kind of an example where I much prefer working like that than at the regiment doing it, because there's a lot of, if they don't have stuff for you to do, man, they'll be like, hey, go cut that tree down. And they're going to find some shit for you to do no matter what.
What's the crazy shit that you see while you were in the jungle?
Oh, dude. Bro, I saw a native guy eat, like, he ate some monkey or some brain. I don't know if he mixed it with drugs or something, but bro, this guy lost his mind, dude, and would like turned into a demon, bro.
Eating a monkey?
Screaming, dude. Yeah, we ate some monkey and stuff because they hunt him and kill him. And so, I mean, he started screaming and just going crazy, man. And it was like my first night there. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, wow.
Because those are the guys that would run our boats, some of the boats, because they knew the rivers really well. And I remember him just screaming like, wow. So it was in my, because we slept in cots with so if we would sleep in hammocks if we were out in the jungle, but we'd sleep in these cots with the mosquito nets over them. And I remember laying there looking up in the screen and just hearing this dude screaming, going, what the fuck? Where am I, bro? Right?
How long did you stay in that state of mind for?
So
that guy screaming.
Oh, dude, hours, man. Hours.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell the deal was. That was a one-time incident, so I don't know what the deal was.
Nobody shut him down? Like,
yeah, oh, yeah, bro. Oh,
yeah.
Everyone was trying to shut him down.
What do you think it was? Is like, why do you think he was acting that way?
Maybe some drugs or something. I have no idea. But it was just kind of I remember it specifically because it was just my first night there, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on out here? But I would say, I mean, obviously hitting and burning gold mines and stuff is interesting. We were doing that every day. Like,
really?
That we would do. I mean, blowing shit up, jumping into mercury lakes and pulling diesel engines out, burning all their villages, man, burning their whole towns down, for lack of a better word, because it's all illegal, right? And so that was our job. They just fucking break it all down, burn it. Man, there's women, kids, fucking grandmas out there, bro. It's crazy, man.
And where you guys were exporting these kids and people like away, or?
Yeah, because you're 14 days in the jungle. We can't take them with us because we're also going to be hitting more. So we'd be like, okay, later. That's all you can do.
Oh, wow.
Most of them Brazilian.
Oh, wow.
But I always say I don't use the nationality. It's just because the borders out there are water, man. I mean, they're in the middle of the forest. I get what they're doing. They're just trying to make a living, but it's also just destroying the Amazon jungle. I mean, it's just ripping it apart with chemicals because they're using mercury to break it out. So they're digging these huge mercury lakes. If you look at it on satellite imagery, it's fucking crazy what's going on down there.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the Wild West, bro. I mean, the guys who are actually doing the legal stuff are getting killed too, because you get the gold, you got to get it out. How do you do it? Bro, they hop on a little dirt bike, bro. One guy with a gun on the back and a backpack, bro. And they go, fucking, they're getting shot at and shit, dude. It's fucking like crazy, bro.
What the hell?
Yeah, how else do you get it out?
Wow.
Right? You got to get it out somehow. And so they don't have a lot of security. They have a handful of guys, but the best way to do it is just like try to blaze through and get to the river to where they can actually get the gold out.
That's crazy. Were you ever felt like threatened, like your life under threat during that moment? Like, oh shit, I'm gonna die right now, like type of thing.
Man, mostly you think you're gonna die from the actual Amazon jungle, right? The Amazon jungle is dangerous as shit, water-wise and stuff, because dehydration and just insects and all that stuff. You're more concerned about that than the people. But yeah, we'd come across guys with guns and stuff, but most people don't want to get down with like a army.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they know they're going to get smoke checked.
When you say army, how many of you?
So we would patrol with like 10 dudes.
Okay.
But 10 well-equipped, guys with HKs, and so it's like, you know, they got two guys in the shotguns and some other. Nobody really wants that.
Yeah.
And you're bringing on the French government. It would just be so they just don't even want to deal with it.
Yeah, tell me a story about that when you were like facing one of these native people like with guns and things, like how the interaction went. Was someone of you guys talking to him?
They run.
They run.
Oh, they run, bro. They're gone. They leave their wife and kids, bro. They're gone. And so I'm not trying to run into the jungle and stuff, you know, get too separated. So we would run them down. Sometimes they would stop, sometimes they wouldn't. Most would just kind of disappear in the jungle. Then we'll take their wives and kids nicely. Obviously, we're not. I never saw anything unprofessional. That was one thing, is I never saw unprofessional stuff. They would just kind of, okay, well, we gotta break all your stuff down. We'd let them take what they could carry, and you know, and then just kind of like break their engines down. More importantly, was taking the mining equipment down. So we'd take sledgehammers, break the diesel engines up, blow up stuff. If we had demolition, we would blow up some of the gold mines, actual mining, you know, who had dug into we'd just blow all that stuff up.
Why blowing up and not just taking and be part of France?
Because that's a good question, but I think they have more efficient ways to do it, right? I think that there's so much gold down there. They're not worried about one particular mine or not.
Oh, wow.
It's everywhere, man. Dude, we would come across some beaches and you just dig in things, there's gold in your hands, man. It's just so much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, oil now too down there. For French Guiana, they just discovered old gold. So a lot of, if people are paying attention, a lot of infrastructure money's going down there from the United States, because the United States corporations are starting to get their piggies down there.
Wow, down in the Amazon?
No, off the coast they found oil.
Off the coast.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow, so you went there to the French Legion, and then you spent a bunch of time over there. That literally was like a curve of your life, right? Mm-hmm. Would you say that was a stepping stone from like who you are right now?
Oh man, it was massively important, because I knew going in I needed time to mature, and I'm still not perfect, right? I got a lot more to learn. I still make a lot of mistakes, but that time was like, I got real clear about my daily habits. I got real clear about, you know, building my mind to fruition, like self-actualizing, right? I had to self-actualize my physical body, my habits, and then what I was going to do. And I needed time, and I needed every bit of that, you know, 4.5 years that I was there. I needed every bit of that time to actually really get all these pieces together. And I wanted some more experience. Like we talked about, man, that's that international experience of being over there. A lot of my friends are Ukrainian, man. A lot of my friends are Colombian, and you know, and from Italian and Spanish. Guys who I got the Mongolian, bro. Like guys who I never would have Kazakhstan and all these places. I mean, I would have never known about the countries, let alone their lives, let alone work with them and hear the languages and their life, how their daily flow is. Fascinating. And I was really grateful of that international exposure that I needed to just improve my maturation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was a time for you to being self-awareness, right? Be self-aware of who you are, where you want to go, think, and be living in the present, and kind of creating the new story of your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
get clear.
Yeah,
I used the Foreign Legion as this vehicle of self-development. Right? It was a vehicle of, man, if God wants to make somebody better, generally he'll isolate him. Right? So institute some isolation on yourself. It's beneficial. Man, biblical. That's how it goes down. It's very hard to get clear on who you are if you're surrounded by people.
True.
Especially the same fucking people, right? Especially people who are doing dumb shit or just, you know, not going anywhere. You're never going to rise above it. You're going to sink down to that level. So make sure the people you're around are living the life you want. If they're not living the life you want, don't even engage, right? Because you're going to become that fifth person. That's all. So I had to isolate, because it wasn't even so much who I was around. I didn't even know who I wanted to be yet, right? So how do I even know what I want, right? I had an idea of a life, but I didn't know what that path looked like. I just know I had to fix my daily habits, right? Focus, simple. Fix my morning. Fix my fucking mindset, right? And then I stopped having bad days. I would have these like super bad days emotionally before, and you know, maybe thinking about what I lost and where I was, and it was like all these regrets and shames. And then I was like, man, fuck that. Like, why? That old Zen proverb, man, let go or be dragged. Love that, because I was getting fucking dragged, man. So I decided to cut it, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to feel good in the moment. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to self-reflect. I'm going to read a little bit of the Bible, right? I'm going to read some Stoic philosophy. I'm going to be grateful for this fucking moment in that Foreign Legion, working out on the bathroom floor. I'm just grateful that I have a fucking roof over my head.
I love
right?
it.
Just simplify, being grateful in the simple moments. When I was grateful in the simple moments and then actually aligning myself with, okay, now all my actions are aligned with a beautiful life. All my actions are aligned with looking good, feeling good. Man, then I actually started, even in the Foreign Legion, I was fucking in a great mood. Man, I was like fucking really grateful. And people were like, man, this fucking dude, like, they would call me Monsieur Soleil because I was like, hey, bro, what's up? And they're like, this fucking guy, bro. I was sincerely, it wasn't fake. I was in a really just good space, just grateful to be happy, man, right? And so that's when I finally got there. That's when I look back and I go, oh, fuck. Man, I could teach people how to be happy, bro, because I was so long I wasn't. And that now I didn't need external validation for my own, I don't like the word happy, but that's the word I'm using now, for just feeling good, right? I had got that mojo back, which I say a lot. It's like, dude, I had lost my fucking mojo for a lot of years, and it was just lack of self-confidence and this and that, but it really just because my daily habits weren't good. Once I fixed my daily habits, once I built a blueprint for myself of this is what I do every day just to get correct, to get prepared for them, win the morning, right? Win the morning, win the day, win the fucking training, win this and that. Boom. Now I can start arranging the other pieces of my life.
Wow. When you say win the morning, so what's your daily routine look like? And do you keep them every single day, or do you have like one cheat day?
No, I generally try to keep the morning very similar, you know, not perfect, you know, I'm not going to say like my alarm, but I try to wake up at 3:45 to about 4:30, right? That's about my window is when I'll get up, unless something weird happens, right? But it's never later than 5:30, right? That would be like an extreme if my alarm didn't go off or something. You know, I'll get up because I like to have a little time to self-reflect, just drink my coffee and just kind of wake up and get centered, right? People call it meditation, whatever. I just like to, but I'm deliberate about no phone. I'm deliberate about no emails. I'm deliberate about no anything first for this whole section of time that I'm talking about here. No DMs, no anything. I allow myself to kind of like get correct first, psychologically. Then I'll go into some movement. I like, you know, I do Mike Tyson push-ups. I'll go into some, but generally it's just a vibrational raising exercise. Then I'll go into visualization. I might pace around. I'll put some music on. Man, I'll look at myself in the fucking mirror, whatever, just to kind of like think about, man, where am I at? Where am I going? This is also a time when I'm grateful for the present, right? I got my beautiful fiance in the other room and this and that, and I had visualized all this stuff years ago, man. So it's a powerful moment, man. I've cried during my morning process, bro. Dead serious, where I'm just like, fuck, dude, this is crazy. Being in a Foreign Legion or a cell or all these places where I visualize this, and now it's here, right? It's a powerful moment. So then I also take that gratitude and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do next, right? How can I be of service? How can I be just that conduit, man? Because I'm just a conduit. I'm nobody special. Man, fuck Taylor Cavanaugh. It's not about me. I'm just like trying to set a decent example of, man, how to feel good when you felt bad. How to kind of be right when you have been wrong for a lot of times. And how to actually like be an asset to your family, be an asset to the people around you, and not a fucking liability, which I had been.
I love it. When you say you do the visualization, how long does it take?
10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes longer. Minutes. Sometimes a little shorter if I'm running out of time. But about then. And then after I kind of finish that piece, and then I'll go into my, take a shower, go into my phone, answer my DMs, answer the emails, and try to get going on the work. Then I'll go hit the gym.
Got it. And then what type of work do you do? What's your profession? How would
all
you
coaching.
All
so
coaching.
I'm 100% all in on coaching. I do it every day, full time. I have hundreds of clients, man. So I do Zoom calls. I'm answering emails. I'll do any micro adjustments. I'll do macro adjustments. And so and I tailor everything on Zoom calls for people. I also do consultation calls for guys who want leadership or trying to go into selection pipelines. I'll do one-off consultation Zoom calls. But mostly what I do is structuring the day, right? Restructuring the day to actually get people some outside information, because I've needed it, man. Reach out. If what you're doing's not working, guess what? You got to change some shit up. Simple. If you're going through your day and you're not happy, not stoked, and you're not efficient, fucking, you need to change everything. You need to restructure your day. So guess what? What better way to do that than have somebody else do it for you? Be like, hey man, do this, do this, do this, do this. Watch what happens. Always people going, dude, thank you, right? Because that's what you need. You just need, there's so much information. Bro, how do I eat? How do I try? What do I do? How do I train to do? We don't got hours in the gym to spend. Let's work efficiently. Do it with a blueprint. People want to build a house without a blueprint. It's impossible. You want to build a beautiful life without a blueprint. Stop fumbling around trying to figure this shit out when there's people who already have it built, right, man? I don't give a fuck if it's me. Identify somebody who's got what you want, life that you want, mindset you want, body you want, and ask them what the fuck they're doing. Be efficient. And guess what? You're going to have to invest some fucking money, right? Because people don't respect shit that's free. If they did, they could figure it out themselves.
That's true.
Also, it's very difficult. It's also how you make shit efficient, right? Get information compacted, consolidated, and delivered clean. So the downstream cost of not acting is way more expensive, way more. With the habits, the drinking, the drugs, the food, the lack of opportunity that you're missing because you're not at the right vibrational frequency when that person passes that you fucking could have offered you an unbelievable opportunity, but you were just fucking doing weird shit in the fucking bathroom, looking at porn, whatever, right? Not living right, and so you missed that opportunity. Or so who knows how expensive that is, right? Or you pay a little bit of money up front and get fucking correct quick. That's the way I viewed it, because that's what I had to do. Somebody reached out and said, hey, what are you doing? Because I don't really know, right? And I was talking more about the food and the macros and stuff. But and then I structured the rest of it on how I do my day, which I know, bro, I tell people to do exactly what I do because I know it fucking works. Simple. I do the same things that I tell everybody else to do. I don't change shit.
I love it. And so your main focus is men?
No, I have a lot of women. So probably 10% of my clients are women.
Oh,
5 to 10%. Yeah.
Gotcha. What would you say there are so many veterans nowadays on the streets in America?
Well, I think that there's probably a mix of issues with veterans on the street. I think lack of skills, right? Lack of skills. First of all, you're going from the military. They're paying for your shit. They're paying for your living. They're paying for it. Living in life is not super easy if you're not correct. That's why and also daily habits, also substance abuse, right? There's a mix. Also, there could be psychological issues, right? There could be, but a lot of it's substance abuse and a lot of it's just poor daily habits, right? Now, there is a percentage that are, psychological, could be PTSD and could be other things. So I'm not dismissing those. And I don't even want to say the VA won't help out, because the VA is very helpful, actually, if people reach out and stuff, but it's not a charity, man, right? You can't just rely on that shit to fucking get you by. You have to put your bootstraps on and actually figure this shit out. There's plenty of opportunity out there, but it takes some time to get clear of all the bullshit, get clear of the vices, get clear of all the negativity, and start cleaning the karma, right? Once that karmic debt's clear, then you can actually start to move forward. But the karmic debt has to get cleared in whatever capacity that is.
How do you clean up the karma debts? That's a beautiful thing that you just said. Let's just say that Mr. Frank is walking on the street and he's thinking, oh shit, I fucked up so much in the past, but now today I want to make it right. How do you think he will be able to clear up his karma debt?
Right. Okay. First thing I would do if I was in that situation is I would go find a church anywhere like you had done. I go, okay, what do I need to clean to stay here?
Okay.
That's what I would do. How do I get off the street first? I would go every fucking place possible and ask, what can I clean to actually just stay here? So you can get a roof over your head.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of places that'll just take you if you're willing to put in some elbow grease. What can I paint? What can I clean? What can I clean up? Whatever to just stay here. Okay, now you got a roof over your head. Now, make sure you're not doing any fucking bad daily shit. Stop drinking. Stop doing drugs. That's going to be the first two things if you are, right? Now, start waking up. Then start being grateful. Start reading a little bit. See, why people won't do these things is there's no immediate benefits, right? There's no immediate
instant gratification.
It's no reading some stuff and being grateful. You're not immediately getting something from that. The benefits of this are going to be downstream.
Yes.
And you have to continue to do this. Once that clarity comes, just because you're feeling good about what you're doing in the day, now seek to be of service, right? Can you help some people out? Now try to make some fucking money, right? How do you start? Because you need some money to make some shit happen. Where can you work? Now you got a roof over your head. Now you got a little clarity and some good habits. Now you can go find a fucking job. I don't care. Pick up a shovel. There's a bazillion places that'll go pick up a veteran in a minute if you're willing to do some work. Then you're making some money. Now you actually feel proud of yourself. That would be my path, right? And then you continue on that path.
Have you ever thought about coaching veterans?
I do. A lot of my veterans, a lot of guys who are on my thing, and I work with them too. They're like, hey man, that's too expensive. I go, okay, well, what can you do right now? Let's do this, because I'm like, momentum's key here. Take massive action. Don't wait. If you have the ability to make some shit happen now, fucking do it. Your next level was never meant to be comfortable for your pocket.
True.
Never. It wasn't for me. Man, I spent almost my entire net worth on a program to like try to learn some shit. Dead serious when I was in the Legion, making $1,300 a month, bro. $1,300 a month, I spent like almost my year's salary to fucking learn some shit. Dead serious, and it was the best thing I ever did. But it was fucking scary, right? Because I was like, man. So you're just going to be, it's not going to be safe. It's going to be scary. It has to be. Nothing important is not scary.
That's true.
You're gonna have to. I'm sure you go into solar businesses and other stuff. Man, you've had to put your money where your mouth is, and you're like, fuck, I hope this works.
Yeah.
Right? And guess what? When it does, that's how the universe respects drastic action, man.
I love it. That's so true, man. You made a really great point. And I feel like nowadays, training itself is not supposed to be easy. Training is not so. Some people like think that, I don't want to train. Training, learning is not supposed to be easy. That's something that I learned at really a young age. And I feel like more people need to have that as a clear understanding of you have to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You have to touch rock bottom. You have to stay there in front of that whatever it is for a long period of time to making sure that you are able to become a best version of yourself. Because if you're not putting the work, you're right, like nobody else is gonna put the work. Nowadays I feel like we have a society of beta men. We have a society of people that are not willing to put the work because they feel entitled, because they feel like, everything need to be on their way, when it's not really the point. And I've been start doing some stoic type of mindset and reflection. I actually hire a mental coach, and I've been see a lot of result in that, because the first things first is be able to self-reflect and have a self-awareness. So that's my first value, self-awareness. And what you say, I can relate with that, because it's like when you're able to understand where you are at the moment and where you're looking to go, you have a clear vision. Even the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge, a lack of vision, right? So it's like, and last time I saw this video, and there was this guy was saying, everybody wanna arrive to some point, but not everybody looking there 100% of the work.
Yeah.
It's like when I say, hey man, raise your hand. Okay, raise it higher. Okay, why you didn't do that for the first fucking time? You see what I mean? Some people just like do this work and expecting this result.
I think of it like this. Try to go 85% of if it's a journey, right? Imagine this is a journey. The work is a journey. Your goal is a journey. Try to go 85% of the way to Hawaii. Right? You can't, if you're trying to get somewhere, you can't go 85% there. You won't get there. You have to go 100%. That's that full commitment, bro. You're going to end up in the drink, right? If you're trying to go 85% of the way to Hawaii, you got to go 100%. And that's where people go, well, this isn't working. I go, yeah, because you're not doing it, right? I go, people will ask me, sometimes on the program, they're like, hey man, I kind of want to I'm not really seeing the results on the, the weight, very few, and I go, well, it's because you're not hitting your numbers on your check-ins. And I'll tell them, I go, look, your fats are way too high, you're this and that. And they go, oh, well, that's just not that much. I go, it's a fuck ton, right? It's actually a huge amount. You're not hitting it. And they start hitting it, and guess what? They start getting massive results. And they go, oh, wow. I go, yeah. The difference between somebody great and somebody just okay is fractions.
True.
Right? Look at the Olympics. What are the differences of the guys who actually are?
Nanoseconds.
Fractions.
Wow.
Right? It's small. So always look at where's most people not doing the work, right? It's always in the little bit, the devil's in the details, right? It's always in that little bit of tweaks. It's in that early wake up. It's in not pressing the snooze. It's in being cognizant of what you're training, right? No growth happens in comfort. Darwin said that in Origin of Species, right? So you got to make sure you're kind of staying uncomfortable, that you're walking into the fear often, because often, as Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle's the way. If you're like, oh man, I don't know, that's probably the way you should be going, right? Because if you're comfortable and you know exactly what you're doing every day, guess what? You're not growing. You're not progressing. You're just getting by at this point. And that's a very, very dangerous place when you start to get comfortable. Just psychologically, we feel better as men specifically, and women too, when we're progressing, right? Because if you're not progressing, you're regressing. There's no static in nature. Everything's moving. Which direction you want to move, right? So be decisive about it.
I love it. Once I heard this quote saying that we need to be always moving, always evolving. It's like the water. Water, if it's stagnant, is going to smell bad. It's going to.
I like that.
It's going to smell bad. It's going to look bad. Like there is not good in that.
That's a good point.
Right, but if you see a beautiful river, or if you see a beautiful waterfall, the water is always moving. I
like that.
The water that is touching is not the same they touched you 3 seconds ago. It's a new water, right? So, Bruce Lee also said, "Be like water, be adaptable." Making sure. I mean, like that's a beautiful part of life. I feel like some people just get stuck on, I'm not where I need to be, and they stuck in that victim mentality of bullshit, like super. Anyway, where is not the point. The point is, okay, that's a beautiful journey, right? Like you fucked up yesterday, congratulations. You have a new chance today. Be fucking grateful. Well, your heart is beating, right? Everything around you, try to smell different, making sure that you're able to be in the present, right? And something that I've been doing since I hired a mental coach is like, okay, he's like, Marco, sit down and understand where is your weight. Understand, touch your finger, touch yourself. Understand that you are in the present. Taste your saliva. Understanding where you are. Like, what else can you hear beside your voice? What else can you smell beside your voice? That's like the beautiful part of centering your point of present.
Yes.
And I feel like it's so nano things. It's so like a micro thing. So that most people don't even want to put like 30 seconds of it.
Yeah.
Just to be in the fucking present.
Yeah.
Like, how you're gonna change the world if you don't start from today?
Dude,
how you sorry,
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
You have to understand where you're at to know where you're going.
True.
Right? If you're lost in the woods, how do you fucking save yourself? First, you got to figure out where the fuck you're at. That's perfect, right? How do you do that? Right? Get centered, man. How is your body? Where are you? Are you really taking the time to quiet the noise? That's when I talk about your destiny whispers at you. It doesn't shout. You're not going to hear it in fucking traffic. That's why it's important in the morning, because it's very difficult to do these things middle of the day, in the night, in the evening. I'm not saying you can't, but it's hard. That's why that early morning piece is important. And a lot of Greek philosophers, samurai philosophers, they call that the hour of the gods, 3 to 4, when the veil is most thin. Samurai called it hour of the tiger, 3:30 in the morning, when a man is most aligned with his purpose.
Say one more time. 3 to 4 is what?
The hour of the gods.
The hour of the gods.
When the veil is most thin. That's when they say, the Greeks would call it the hour of the gods. The samurai called 3:30 in the morning, hour of the tiger, when a man is most aligned with his purpose. That's why I tell people to get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, because when you're doing these presence exercises, it hits different at that time. I don't know why. And also you start to get downloads of messages very clearly about where you're supposed to be. That's why I think and I'm not saying it can't be done different times of the day. I'm just saying, in my experience, it's very, very true.
Effective.
You can really start to hear your divine design, your divine vision, right? You really start to see it clearly at that time, because that's when you can actually hear it. That nobody's up. Nobody's pulling you in different directions. You're not clouded by a bunch of stimulus, which really makes it impossible to really hear that vision. You're not gonna be able to do it in traffic when you're trying to, visualization, taking time is that deliberate act, right? You need to allocate time for this stuff. You need to allocate time to be present. Right? Some people meditate, some people do whatever they want to do, but take some time to clear your brain, to actually train your mind. People train their body and they don't take time to train their brain. It's the most important thing we need to train. Well, we need to train both in unison. Psychological and emotional grooming, right? It's you getting your mind correct, just like you put on pants and brush your teeth. Same thing, right? Do not think of the brain as something separate. It's a tool. It takes training. It's a powerful tool. So a lot of powerful tools are very dangerous, right? So your brain can be, you see people out here screaming up themselves, ripping their hairs out.
Yeah.
The brain is a very dangerous thing. There's a lot of chemicals going on, a lot of stuff happening. So be very deliberate about being in control, taking that emotional discipline, right? It's hard. Even the Tibetan monk who's up in the fucking monastery or whatever, he has difficulty keeping his emotional discipline. Think about that. The guy whose whole world is isolated and focused still has difficulty, but his ability to close the window on anger and low vibrational emotions is fast, right? It's world class. And that's why I say train yourself, man. It takes deliberate act.
I'm fascinated with what you just said about the 3 to 4 is the hour of the gods or the hour of the tiger, depending on different cultures. What would you say was one of your experience that says that's fucking true? 3 to 4 is like my fucking time versus like 5 to 6 type of thing.
Well,
and why?
I would say the world's waking up at 5 to 6, so you're just gonna have more ability to get distracted. The sun's coming up, so it's not quite the same. It's energetically, it's what they say. They say it's the veil is most thin between the world of the gods and the terrestrial world. I don't know about all that. Energetically, who knows? But I just know a lot of nations all over the world at different times historically have come up with this same thing. And I found at that time for me too, it's when I can think most clearly. It's when I think most intensely also. It's when I can see very clearly where I'm heading. And it just gets more difficult later in the morning.
How many hours of sleep do you do?
Man, I try to get at least 5.
5?
Yeah, I try to get at least 5. If I can get 6, I'm good with that.
Can you function on 5?
I'm great, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think a lot of stuff is psychosomatic. People think they need 8. Why? Because somebody fucking told you? Who said that, right? How the fuck do you even know if that's true? What are you optimizing for? You're not some I'm not saying, people are like optimizing for what? Sitting on the fucking couch, right? It's like, man, if you don't think you need that much sleep, I'm not saying that sleep's not beneficial. If you're going less than 4, often you're going to be tired. Man, but 5 or 6. Schwarzenegger slept 6 his whole career, right? Bodybuilder, best in the world ever, right? People need women might need a little more, maybe from studies I've seen. But for me, I found that when I'm aligned with purpose, man, my energy's different, right? And also, I eat well, hydrated correctly, right? You're taking the right supplements and things like that. It's massively important, right? Magnesium, salt, all these things are really going to help. A lot of people are tired in the afternoon because they're salt deficient. It's sodium deficiency, not because they're tired. So people start hydrating correctly and actually start supplementing correctly, and they're like, man, their energy goes up. You need less sleep.
How much sodium do you think there should be a daily intake?
I don't know about the percentage of sodium, but I'll take like 2 or 3 grams in the morning with like a liter of water.
Okay, just putting the sodium, the salt into the water.
Yeah, first thing in the morning, if people do that, you're going to feel tremendously better.
Oh, wow. That's good. Interesting. What do you think is next for you?
I'm going to stay on this coaching thing, right? I had a book coming out too, so we got that in the works.
What's the name of the book?
The Hard Way.
The Hard Way.
Yeah, The Hard Way. So that's in the works. I need to get cracking on that a little bit more, but that will be the next big project. But my whole purpose and my whole passion, man, obsession, really, not even passion, is, man, being able to share this message. Being able to see changes in people's lives, watch people's marriages get better, their relationship with their kids get better, their businesses get better, right? Because all these things only happen when you have self-actualized and start developing self. Everything, your business, you are your business. You are your family. You know, your level of success personally and professionally will never exceed your level of self-development. It won't. So if you're not taking deliberate time to train your mind and body, you are leaving a lot on the table in terms of quality of life.
I love it. What's a story that you never told before, but it will be in the book, and you want to just give a preview to people that's going to listen to this podcast?
Oh man, dude. Dude, I have some of my moments of growing up too. Some of my moments of growing up of being down in Mexico, getting wrapped up at a very young age, right? Being arrested by police down there, federales stopping us, also friends dying down there, things happening, so growing up at, 15 years old, 16 years old, having these experiences and just being in this area. And I think that some of the earlier years stuff kind of really formed me into who I am. That we also have, there's always other stories and stuff of the Foreign Legion and stuff that will come out. But some of the earlier stories I think are interesting because there is some divine guidance, right? I truly think that I was just very fortunate and also very blessed to have made it through a lot of scenarios where a lot of my friends are dead or in prison, right? From that time, all, not some, all. So it's like I think about cars I was in with like 6 friends and everybody's dead except me right now. And that was just, 20 years ago, So I think that I feel very fortunate and that I have a fucking duty to, and I talk about some of those people and some of those, times and, I feel very like I actually have a duty to take full advantage of the blessings I've been given, right? And some of the graces that have been bestowed upon me physically, being able to be healthy, making it through deployments and also, all these things and still being alive and kicking. Man, every day I get up, I can't waste, right? And so that's really how I think about when I get up in the morning.
I love it. What were you doing in Mexico at 15 years old?
Man, shooting steroids, going to strip clubs, fucking just, that's just what we were doing at the time.
And you saw a few of your friends dying in front of you?
Well, getting wrapped up and stuff down there, but they died separately.
Because of the use of drugs?
No, getting shot, man.
Getting shot?
Yeah.
Messing with the wrong people?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's, it's the life you're living, right? Yeah. So it's not like something to be sad about, man. It's like it's you're in it. Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah. When do you think the book is going to come up?
Probably next year because it still's got to go through Pentagon approval. Right, so some of it has to go through Pentagon approval. It's not that there's like secret shit in there, but they're gonna have to redact some stuff just to make sure they don't fucking go in my bank account after, man. It's the Pentagon, bro.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So how does it work, the process of writing a book from someone of a high profile like you, right? Like you go and how do you go and ask for the Pentagon approval? Like, do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, so the Pentagon has an office for military specific, but also special operations and stuff, approval. And so the agency that I work with will take the manuscript, send it for redaction. It'll send back and they'll go through whatever process of redacting things that then they'll black it out, go back through another and it'll go back and forth. And then,
oh, wow.
So we'll have some attorneys and stuff pushing that process and just to kind of expedite it.
Insane. And then now do you have, or did it happen that maybe the French Legion went after you because maybe you're talking about this experience and things like that?
No, they're not organized enough really. And I'm an American citizen.
Okay.
Right. What are they going to do? I'm not a French citizen. So, and I don't say anything secret, but there's nothing and I also didn't have a secret clearance there. So I had no clearance level. So and I was never even a resident of France. So
okay.
the legal gray area just kind of is protective.
Do they give you like a fake passport while you were like
they did.
There? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a fake passport with a fake name. I ended up getting my own name back.
Okay.
I routed additional paperwork, but I was never a citizen.
Wow. Wow. Man, incredible story that you have, brother.
Thank
I'm just stoked to see what you're going in life and how many other millions and millions and millions of people you're going to, change. And I see a huge call in you, man. Like I look in your eyes and I see a huge call in you, and I'm really looking forward to see and I can see you going over there and preaching to other people and making their life in a better life, and they're listening to you and receiving it. So I'm just so stoked to have the opportunity to talk to you, and looking forward to see what you're gonna do in life later on. Thank you for being here, brother, man.
Dude, I appreciate you, man, and dude, thanks for being in America, bro.
100%.
It's good to have good people, bro.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
Any question for me before we wrap it up, brother, man?
No, man, I really appreciate it, bro. But let's definitely connect
100%.
more on some other projects.
100%.
And I'll send some guys your way, some guys with some great stories too. If you're interested.
Please, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Thank you for being here, brother, man.
Yeah, thanks.
God bless you, brother, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.